Hello and welcome to Women in Retail Talks. I'm Ashley Tradio, Senior Content Strategist at the Women in Retail Leadership Circle, and today I'm joined by Michaela Ulmer, 14-year-old CEO and founder of Me and the Bees, a social good lemonade company. Today we're going to be talking about the company's 10-year anniversary, how it partners with organizations to help save the honeybees, and the future plans for Michaela and Me and the Bees. So Michaela, thanks for joining me today.
Hi, I'm so glad to be here.
Yeah, we're so happy to have you. So I gave a brief introduction about Me and the Bees, but could you explain the origin and how you entered a children's business competition at just 4 years old?
Yes. So I started my company when I was about 4.5, and it was when I was in kindergarten. And I decided to sign up in what we have in Austin. We have the Austin Lemonade Day and the Acton Children's Business Fair. And so a lot of my other peers were doing it. I decided why not do it as well. And over the summer when I was trying to figure out what product I was going to make and sell, I actually got a 1940s cookbook, and it came from my great granny Helen. It was this very old, tattered cookbook, and we didn't really know what we were going to do with it. And it had our favorite recipe for flaxseed lemonade, and we just kind of put it in the cabinet. And I also got stung by 2 bees in 1 week. And so like one was in my ear, one was on my neck. It was pretty painful. And I became terrified of the bees. I didn't want anything to do with them. I didn't really want to go outside. I avoided insects. And so I thought that because I had gotten stung by 2 bees in different occasions in 1 week, that would kind of be like I would just keep on getting stung. And so my parents said, okay, before you are afraid of the bees, why don't you do a little bit of research on them? And I read like picture books, I watched animated videos, and I learned that without the bees, our ecosystem would be affected, in that they pollinate 1 out of every 3 bites of the food we eat. And I realized, okay, so if I like strawberries and I like the fruits and vegetables that I eat every day, then I need to help save the bees too, because they're dying at an alarming rate. So of course I started a lemonade stand and decided I would donate a portion of my proceeds to different organizations that were helping save the bees. But I also decided to use my great granny Helen's recipe for flaxseed lemonade and sweeten it with honey. So that's kind of how the idea came about, and we've been using that same recipe and helping save the bees since then.
That is so cool. And on your website, you say, buy a bottle, save a bee, which I love, by the way. Why was it so important to you to tie your lemonade business in with giving back?
So one of the things that I thought I had to choose between when I started the company was probably making a difference and helping save the bees or creating a successful company. And after the first couple of fairs, I learned that I could do both, and I could be what's called a social entrepreneur. And that's kind of why I became very, very passionate about the bees. I started talking to different beekeepers in Austin, figuring out ways that you can help save them, and different things that we do that can potentially hurt them. But I think that it's important for every company to have a social aspect, because one, that's what people my age, like that's what Generation Z, that's what we're interested in. But it's also, if everybody chooses a different cause to support, then if every company chooses a different cause to support, then we're going to be in a much better place, because we're all pitching in to help solve different problems.
That's such a great mindset. I love that.
Thank you.
So Me and the Bees is celebrating its 10-year anniversary. How's the business evolved from when it began, and how have you developed as a CEO?
Well, I started when I was 4, so that means I had a lot of help from my parents. And even though it did start with, I do remember me selling my product out of my stand, and I would do it twice a year. And every day before the fair, I would be up past my bedtime squeezing lemons and making sure that the product was good and that all the stickers were on the cups. And every day at the fairs and at the stand, it would sell out within a first couple of hours. And even though it was a good problem to have, it kind of bothered me that after all this preparation and me looking forward to it the whole year, that it sold out that quickly. And so I went to my parents. I said, I want to figure out a way that I can sell my product and make a difference all year round. I want to be like the products that we see on the shelves. And so one company in Austin said, okay, if you can find a way to bottle your product, we'll carry it in our store. And so my parents did a bunch of research. We found a commercial co-packing company, and we bottled kind of our first product. And it went from me selling out of the stand to me hand delivering it in my little wagon, and then like my parents driving me to Whole Foods and all these other local restaurants in Austin. And then now we are in over 1,000 stores nationwide. So I guess the biggest evolution has been us scaling our company to fit the demand. It's grown a lot. We've grown our team a lot, even though it started with as only a family company. Now we have like a sales team and a finance team and ops team. And even though it's still a family-run company, and my mom is still our CMO, my dad's still our chief operating officer, my younger brother is our chief photo bee. It has grown a lot more than I expected it to. So.
Wow, it definitely sounds like you guys have evolved a lot, and I love that the whole family is involved.
Yes. My older brother Khalil, he's our chief tech bee because he just graduated studying computer science. So whenever we have a problem with the website, we'll be like, "Oh, why didn't you just Control P? Are you not? Can you not work computers? How do you not know this?" So he'll help us out with that.
Wow, that must make work fun, being able to work with your family.
Yes.
So how do you balance being a businesswoman with school and being a teenager?
So that is probably one of the biggest challenges that I do have, is going to school, completing my schoolwork, being able to do sleepovers and like going out and getting bubble tea with my friends, and then also things like writing a book and doing interviews and traveling, doing presentations. So I feel like the best advice might seem kind of like repetitive, but the best thing that we've done is just create a really detailed calendar and make sure that you have all your reminders on, have a planner. I have my planner right here. It says busy as a bee, and I just kind of keep focused, make sure that I know what's coming up. And there's times when I'll have to make sacrifices, so I have to I'll go do a presentation and I have to do my makeup work on the plane there and on the plane back, or I have to take a test when I get back. And then there's other times when I have to decline a speaking offer or a meeting offer because I have a really big exam that I can't miss. And there's even times where I would not be able to make it with hanging out with my friends, or we'll have to reschedule it. So it is very hard balancing it, but that's probably the most important thing, because a lot of people think that I just don't have a life. Like I'm not a 14-year-old, and I think that's really important, is to be me. So yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like you have a great balance. That was really good advice. Do you have any mentors? And if you do, what's some advice that they've given you that's helped with your business?
Any mentors? Yes, I do have mentors. I have a mix of mentors and people who I aspire to, or that inspire me. And I guess some of my biggest mentors are, well, I went on Shark Tank when I was around 10 years old, and I pitched my company. Mr. Damon John was our investor, so he is definitely one of my mentors, and one of the things that I've learned from him is that hard work is important, and he's always taught about like the rise and grind. So he's one of my mentors. Another one of my mentors is Mr. Mark Miller. So about 4 years ago, we actually rebranded our whole company. So it used to be B Suite, it changed to Me and the Bees, and Mr. Mark Miller and Team One were the people who helped us out with that. So they came up with new ideas. They helped us with all of our logos, our signage, and everything like that. And so what he said is that it's not the product you sell, but the story you tell. And so no matter what we change the name of the company to, or what our logo is, it's the brand is your story. And so I feel like that was another one of my biggest mentors. And there also, Miss Michelle Obama inspires me, because I've met her, and she's a very nice person, but she's also balances very well. She has a nonprofit, and she's an author, and she's an amazing first lady. And then Miss Cheryl Sandberg is an inspiration to me. So I think it's good to have people that you look up to and that you want to and fill the shoes in. I don't know what the expression is, but yes.
Those are great mentors. Michelle Obama is one of mine too. So what are your future plans for Me and the Bees, and how do you see it expanding and growing?
Future plans. So I definitely see it getting bigger. I mean, I didn't see it getting this as big as it is now, but now that it is here and I realize that it's an actual company, and that it can grow even bigger than it is. I do have a lot of goals for the future. I think one of my biggest ones is that I do want to continue to scale the company. I want to get more flavors and get into more cool retailers like HEB and Target, and I would like to grow my nonprofit, the Healthy Hive Foundation, and so continue working with different school districts and teaching about pollination and funding really important honeybee research on why they're dying and ways that we can help save them, because that's a big interest to me. I do have a book coming out that's called Be Fearless, and it's going to be coming out next year. So that is something to look out to in the future, and it's going to be inspiring entrepreneurs. And I definitely do have a lot of goals, and I'm very excited for the future of the company.
Great. Since you mentioned about writing a book, what inspired you to start writing?
What inspired me to start writing is that I really love reading. So I love we have a library pretty close to our house. We can walk there if we wanted to. And I've always read different books in different genres. So I always thought it would be cool if I wrote one. It was kind of like a scary territory for me to go in, because I knew reading them, I realized, okay, there was a lot of work put into this. But whenever I spoke, some people, like every time somebody would say, you have a really interesting story to tell, I would love to like read about it. And so that's kind of when I started thinking, okay, what if I had a book? Because I'm not really able to go to every school or to every organization to speak there. So what if people could learn about my story without me physically being there, and hopefully get inspired as well? So that's what motivated me to start thinking about writing a book.
Great. So what are some new initiatives for Me and the Bees?
So some new initiatives for Me and the Bees that we've recently started on is for the nonprofit. We're actually commissioning some researchers, and they're finding out the impact on wildfires on honeybee populations, which I'm very excited about to see how the research turns out. Another big thing that's happening is that we are actually launching into about 350 HEB locations. And so that's all in Texas, and that's pretty big because it's a large amount of stores to launch into at one time. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Great. And what's the name of the nonprofit?
The nonprofit is called the Healthy Hive Foundation, and so we are working on helping save the bees through research, education, and protection. So I started it 2 years ago, and since then we've been funding bee apiaries, so kids can suit up in bee suits and go out into the hives and be a little bit closer to the bees, so they're less afraid and they know, okay, well, this honey is actually made by the bees. They can try it, which is pretty interesting as well. And then we also do research, so that's where the research on the wildfires come in, and we are protecting, so we're partnering with other companies like Microsoft and campuses where they can take pieces of their land and actually convert it into bee-friendly habitats, so they have plants to pollinate and pollen to eat.
Great. Well, that's all I have. Was there anything else you wanted to add?
Anything else? Well, one interesting thing that we've just come up with is we've just reduced the grams of sugar in our beverage. So we actually cut about 25% of the sugar from the lemonade. And because I'm a kid, my parents have always wanted me to not drink sugary drinks, and I want to make sure that my product is available to other kids as well. So we made sure that other kids can drink it, and I guess that's what I'm really excited for, because it still tastes great, but it's a little healthier as well.
Awesome. Also, really quick, how was it to be on Shark Tank?
I've always used this word. I called it nerve sighting. So it was really nerve-wracking because there's a bunch of millionaires and billionaires that could impact your company just like staring at you. And it was also really exciting because it was a great opportunity. And I've seen other companies that went on Shark Tank that were huge successes and grew very rapidly. So I called it nerve sighting.
I love that.
It was actually really funny is that when I went on Shark Tank, I was really tightly holding my dad's hand because I was kind of nervous, and actually halfway through my pitch, I didn't even realize this, but I had let go of my hand, and I was let go of his hand because I guess I had got less nervous or something like that. But you can see that in the episode.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to watch it. That's amazing. All right, well, thank you, Michaela, so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening. For more information on this podcast, please check out our podcast channel page at wirlc.com/podcast for show notes. Women in Retail Talks is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, and Spotify. Make sure to subscribe on our podcast channel pages as well. If you've enjoyed this episode, please take a few moments to rate and review this podcast. Thanks, and until next time, this has been Women in Retail Talks.